Hey guys, I'm going to be doing another clear on Nian Beast. This time it's going to be a level 99 clear with no modifiers. This is for those of you that just don't have any of the really good tanks like Mave or Chow, etc. And you also can't do like a quick 2 or 3 turn clear where you just OTK with like Luna Freya or something like that. So this is going to be the team we're going to use. It's not like specifically budgeted or anything, but I am using pretty cheap gear, some older units like, what's her name? Beatrix and all that. But I am using some powerful DPS. My DPS are EX3. I would use like EX2 or something if I could, but you can't, you can't unlevel them. Anyway, so the boss, during the ambush, put up brakes on our party, so we're going to deal with that with Tiana. We're going to Trouble Brewing for the Throwing in Peril, Nutritious Tonic for Break Immunity, Flaming Red for Fire Amp, and Rainbow Colored Remedy for a Resist buff. Yigni is going to 4 hands. We're going to Fruits of Research to break the boss, Vitality Fountain to quadcast, or quintuple cast, Advanced Fire to imbue himself, and whoops, and then Gemini enchantment that I misclicked. So Fruits, Vitality, Advanced Fire, Gemini enchantment. Be right back. Anyway, that imbued the boss and that imbued Yigni and broke the boss. Bulwark is going to start in the shift form, go to the base form where he's going to chirrup, and then Jaunty Jubilee on Beatrix, who is going to the shift form and tank for us. Also, she's passive provoking, and we're not using the new Clash Helm either. She's going to cover and general mitigate. Shira is going to entrust to Ling, and Ling is going to do her shifted LB for 5-stack Mirage. We're not going to evade this party at all. We're going to rely on 5-stack Mirage. Now, full disclaimer, it is possible for the boss to use 6 or more AoE physicals in a turn. If that happens, it's going to wipe your run. So this is going to definitely rely on some luck for the boss to never use 6 Razor Claws in a turn. It's a pretty low chance for him to do 6 in a turn, but it absolutely can happen, and it has happened while I was working out this clear. So just, if it does happen, you wasted your orb trying this. But that clear, as you saw, I think he did 3 that turn just now, so it was fine. Anyway, we got imperiled, and we're not geared for immunity after the imperil. So to deal with the imperil, we're going to use Tiana. We're going to shift her, and we're going to wait for her shifting to finish. We're going to go ahead and 4 times Unstable Fire, and then we're going to use Fantastic Formula. It's an AoE Perfect Dispel. Now Yigni is going to shift and chain with Tiana. Yigni is just going to use his plain old normal Soul Projection 4 times, and then Seal of Doom to cap because Tiana is not using a 5th cast. Before we do that, we're going to shift Bulwark. We're going to Chirrup for Morale and Fairy Killer. Okay, this is very important. Yigni's self-damaging skills in the shift form, they count as physical hits, and Mirage will block them, and it'll waste Yigni's Mirage. This means you have to do Yigni before Ling. So we're going to go ahead and chain Yigni and Tiana before using Ling. So this is going to go ahead and Perfect Dispel the boss at the end, or more importantly, Perfect Dispel our party and get rid of all of those imperils. Now we're going to use Shira to entrust over to Ling, and she can do her shifted LB for 5 more Mirage stacks. And Beatrix on this turn is going to put up Shelga, and we'll just refresh the Saintly Protection. Okay, so once again, we have really high mitigation on Beatrix. She's got 85% general from herself and 85% magic from Bulwark. Okay, some attacks here, accuracy, but we're using Mirage to deal with it. So again, we're looking for 6 or 5 or less Razor Claws, not 6 or more. There's 1. It's a pretty low chance for him to do 6. You won't see it very often. There's 3 though. His turn's not over yet, so it could keep going. Nope, 3 of them that time. That was fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and have Tiana this time times 5 Unstable Fire. Now we might even push the threshold here. If we do, great. If not, doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just chain this. Before we do anything, we're going to chain this up and see how far we are on the threshold counter. Okay, we did push the threshold. That means we can use, let's see. Let's just use Bulwark to chirrup and mixtape this turn. Let's have Beatrix go to the base form this round, and then she will just guard. That's for Seraph Staff for the status immunity. We're not using status immunity otherwise. Let's see. Ling can Blythe, and we don't have enough LB to Beast Killer, so we won't do that. So we'll just Blythe and Moving Dance for a little bit of morale, and then Shira will entrust to Ling. So something to keep in mind, and I'll show you in a second. We don't need Mirage this turn because we have the threshold was pushed. Okay. Notice because this team is not really like a high score run, our morale is absolutely garbage. Notice how the boss on this turn is going to use Motionless Despair. That's an AoE stop. Normally you won't have to deal with that. We'll go ahead and blind the boss just because. Normally you won't have to deal with Motionless Despair because you're not doing a terrible morale run like we are. But we're going to get AoE stopped. So to deal with that, Shira is going to use Lakshmi's stop immunity. Let's go ahead and put Beatrix back in the shift form. And she's going to cover and mitigate. We're going to LB Ling, but not yet. So the boss dispelled all his debuffs. So to deal with that, also he put, I think he put brakes on our party, didn't he? Oh, no, we're in peril this turn. Okay, so to deal with that, we're going to go back to the base form with Yigni. We're going to Novice Spellfire, Advanced Fire, 2 more Novices, and then Fruits of Research to break the boss again, a better break. And once again, we're going to Unstable Fire 4 times, and then Fantastic Formula to AoE Perfect Dispel. So we're going to do this. Let's go ahead and do this right now before we do anything else. Okay, so keep in mind, the Taste of Flesh, because we pushed the threshold kind of early, he's still going to be doing Taste of Flesh. He's still going to be doing human mitigation and human killers. So, but thankfully though, we're using Bulwark and Beatrix together, which is a ridiculously crazy mitigation combo. So we're going to Chirrup, and we're going to Jaunty Jubilee, and Beatrix is going to be fine. And then we're going to, I don't really know what else we'll do. I guess we'll Mixtape again. Doesn't really matter. And now we'll do Ling's Shifted LB for more Mirage stacks. So we've got 2 more turns of 85% general mit on Beatrix. This is going to be just enough to cover the boss's stat buffs as well as the boss's human killer. There's Motionless Despair. That is the AoE stop, but we did stop immunity from Lakshmi. So there's a Razor Claw. Oh, 2 Razor Claws. That might have been 3 Razor Claws. I couldn't quite tell. Hopefully he doesn't do 2 or 3 more. Oh, there's another one. Nope, we're good. Okay. So yeah, so we're in phase 2, but the boss is still doing the human stuff because we pushed phase 2 really quickly. But again, with the Beatrix Bulwark combo, we don't really care, and we're using, and we're also, because Beatrix is not having to gear for like full evasion and all that, she's really bulky for this. Anyway, I think at this point we have lost our quintuple casting, so we're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, we did. So we're gonna go ahead and just triple soul project. Are we imperiled? We're imperiled again. So this time we're just gonna do double soul projection. We're gonna do, let's see. Before we do anything, entrust to Ling, because we're gonna use Yigni to steal Shira's life force. So we're gonna double soul projection. double. What am I doing again? Oh yeah, double soul protection. I need Vitality Fountain and Secret of Life on Shira. That's going to cure our imperils. Tiana is going to. Oh, she has 1 turn left on hers. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, so Tiana is going to. You know what we could do instead is we could just absorb and not have to cure imperils this turn. Yeah, we'll just absorb element this turn instead. It's even better. Okay, so we're going to go for more damage then. So we're going to 4 hands. We're going to 1, 2, 3, and we're going to Vitality. So Tiana is going to 1, 2, 3. That. Oh, it's a single target. It's not an AoE. Whoops. Never. I forgot about that. Okay. I forgot about that. So we do have to cure imperils. So we're going to 1, 2. We're going to Secret of Life on Shira, and then we're going to Vitality. So we're actually only... And we'll Iridescent on Beatrix, whatever. Okay. Let's shift. Let's refresh the killer buff as well. Let's Cherub, let's Electronic Ensemble, and let's Fairy Killer. Alright, do our chaining real quick. And this is going to cure the imperils with the Igni. Okay, imperils are gone. Beatrix, this is the last turn of the boss's killer buff. We'll just guard Beatrix for the absolute safety, and Ling can Mirage us. Okay. As you can see, I'm kind of just like winging this clear. It's more of a proof of concept than an actual turn-by-turn guide. So there's the last taste for flesh. So now we can actually deal full damage with Tiana. So the boss is probably going to die next turn. So we should be good here. As long as the boss doesn't do 6 Razor Claws. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Uh-oh. I think that was the 4th one. Now we're good. Okay, yeah. So now we can just go ahead and yes. So now the boss's human mitigation is gone. This is human killer, not mitigation. Oh, he does have 1 more turn of defense and spirit buff, so actually it might be a little bit of damage here. Igni, are you still imbued with fire? Adds fire element. Yeah, you are. 3 more turns. Alright, so Yigni is going to 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to Seal of Doom because Tiana's quintuple has worn off. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh god, so Yigni can't even do that. So we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then something non-offensive. Incendiary Theory, I guess. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our damage here. Which might kill the boss, potentially. And if not, whatever. We'll go another turn. Yep, okay, so I guess it didn't. Not a problem. So Shira will entrust to Ling. Ling will Reborn. Beatrix will... Whoops, wrong skill. Beatrix will cover and mitigate. And Bulwark will... Nah, we don't need that. Let's go to the base form. Let's Chirrup. Let's Moogly. And... Kupo Clang, I guess? Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So, here we go. Yeah, as you can see, the boss's damage is a whole lot lower when all the human killer has worn off by this point in the fight. Significantly lower damage. There's another Razor Claw. Oh, I say that, and now I look at Beatrix and she's almost dead. Oh, I think she lost her magic mitigation. I think I never refreshed Shelga. Yeah, all she's got is the auto magic mit from the base form. Whoops. Whoopsie. Anyway, the fight is now over. So we soul projection 4 times, 5 times. Tiana does it 5 times, and goodbye to the Nian beast. So there it is. 7-turn clear using Beatrix and Bulwark and Ling and Shira. So this allows you to completely skip evasion on your party, which is awesome. It makes it a whole lot easier to gear, and it makes units like Tiana and Yigni a lot more viable, because trying to gear Tiana or Yigni for full evasion while DPSing this is, you know, bad times. So Yigni carried that, and the reason for that is the majority of the fight, the boss had human mitigation up, and Tiana was really nerfed, but Yigni pretty much carried that. So let's go ahead and show the team and all. Don't want any of this. Yeah, so, you know, not really strictly budgeted or anything, but pretty cheap gear. Alright, so Beatrix. We'll come back to her. So base form of Tiana is just using, you know, TMR or STMR, some auto buffing, and Miracle Shoes for auto buff. That isn't even really that important. Shift form is using a combined total of 50% Thunder and Dark resist. Combined total of 50. Because she's using a 150 resist all buff. Let's go to the base form and show it. Where is it? So we're using for the first 5 turns, 150% resist to Thunder. And then, so Thunder and Dark combined, without any modifiers, need to be 200%. And then we cut it in half. So we got 150 from Thunder. The other 50 is coming from other stuff. So from her, it's coming from 35 Thunder and 15 Dark. And that's giving you the resistances needed. You also need some resist for Phase 2. A combined total of 200 to Fire and Earth resist. Because we're using 75% buff from Tiana. So you need 25, we got 50 to each, so we're good. So here's the build we're using. No STMRs except for her own personal STMR. A bunch of killers, her own card. We're not using any evasion whatsoever. So 240 Fairy and 200 Beast. Yigni in both forms are geared identical. The only STMR is his own personal. And there we go. So here's the build in the base form. There's the build. Shift form, geared identical in the shift form. Both forms have, again, the resist I mentioned. So a total of 50 combined Thunder and Dark. Total together equals 50 or better. And then he's got tons of fire resist naturally. And he had, I believe, maxed everything. Yeah, maxed Beast and maxed Fairy. He uses physical killers. Fat Chocobo was just using literally a little bit of resist gear, and that was it. Just a little bit of resist gear so that we can resist the stuff. I don't think I even gave him a vision card. Yep. So he did mitigation, Fairy Killer, and a little bit of morale fill so we didn't die to the auto death attack, which would kill you. Shira is just using a little bit of resistance, like I mentioned, and then entrusting Galbana Lilies, and yeah, he entrusted Ling every single turn, who stayed in the shift form and was naked other than a little bit of resistance. She did her shifted LB every single turn. Beatrix in the base form is using Seraph Staff. Now this is a little bit important for the auto immunity to the paralyzed, because we're not using a paralyzed immunity buffer. So we needed that so she didn't get paralyzed. And then shift form is, now we are using a couple STMRs here, so this is to bulk her up. She tanked that like a champ, so we probably didn't even really need all this STMRs that I gave her. I didn't even give her that many, like 4 maybe. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4 STMRs, and that's it. Snow's card, Galoof's STMR, Gladiolus's STMR, Wilhelm's STMR, and Lawrence's STMR. So there's the build we have on her. I actually focused mostly on defense, because she caps Spirit just naturally. Defense and HP, because again, we're not evading, so she was eating the physical damage as well. The single target stuff, because she was tanking all the single target stuff, a lot of that did get through Mirage, so she did eat the physical damage. And that was the Nian clear without Chow, without May, without, you know, the OTK setups. Hope it's been helpful. See you next time.